Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your September 2024 horoscope. We start off the month on the 2nd of September with Uranus going retrograde. Uranus is going retrograde in your 6th house of routine and health and day-to-day habits. So you are going to be reflecting on whether your routine is really your own or the routine that society expects of you. Whether you are taking care of your body in your own unique way, or whether you're just following society's expectations and trends. Uranus will be retrograde until January of 2025. So you have plenty of time to reflect on these topics. At the same time, Pluto on September 2nd will be re-entering the sign of Capricorn, which for you Sagittarius is your 2nd house. So you are going to be reflecting on the power that you give away when it comes to your finances, whether you are fearful in any way about your finances and your ability to provide for yourself, and whether you can step more towards those fearful situations and address them with power and confidence. Pluto will be in Capricorn until mid-November, so you have a bit of time, not too much, but you have a good amount of time to reflect on these topics. On September 3rd, we have a new moon in Virgo, which for you Sagittarius is your 10th house. This might mean that there's a new beginning when it comes to your career or the way that others perceive you. Maybe a new job, maybe a new project that you get at your place of work. During this new moon, however, there are two aspects that show to me at least that this is not the easiest beginning or the easiest start. One of them is the square between Mars and Neptune, and the other is the conjunction between Venus and the South Node. So the square between Mars and Neptune is happening with your house of your relationship and house of family. And I see this tension between spending time with your partner, that requiring your energy and your attention, and then of course your family requiring energy and attention. And there's this tension there that's perhaps pulling you away from your career so that you cannot dedicate as much time and energy as you would like into this new beginning. And at the same time, you have Venus conjunct the South Node in your 11th house. So there might be like some habits or some like goals you're striving towards that are sort of like comfortable goals, but they're not really serving you anymore. I can think of like a goal of like, oh, well, I want to reach this amount of salary, but you're just reaching towards it because it feels comfortable and not necessarily because it's something that will benefit you or is something that you need. So at the same time, you might be really noticing that while you're starting this new challenge at work, this new beginning, that maybe you are working towards a finish line that maybe doesn't matter to you as much anymore. On September 5th, we have Mars entering the sign of Cancer, or your 8th house. With Mars entering your 8th house, more of your drive and motivation will be focused on intimate relationships, on diving deep into maybe taboo topics with your partner. On the 8th of September, the Sun in your 10th house will oppose Saturn in your 4th house. So with Saturn in your 4th house for a while now, you probably have been facing some realities that require you to be an adult with your family, with your home. And now that we have this opposition with the Sun in your house of career and public image, you might really feel pulled between the two. You really enjoy this new challenge at work. You really want to dedicate your time there. You feel good when you're doing it and focused on it. But at the same time, there's very practical realities waiting for you when you come home. There's maybe a bit of a feeling of feeling stuck when it comes to your home environment, when it comes to your family. And it might really be different from this expansive energy that you feel while you're at work. And honestly, I don't see things becoming easier for your work for a little bit, because later in the month, on the 12th, the sun in your house of career has another challenging aspect. It squares Jupiter on the 12th. So even though Jupiter is a positive planet, this is a more tense aspect. It's a square, and Jupiter is in your 7th house. So again, I see this repeating story of your relationship requires time from you, requires attention from you. And that maybe pulls you away from your career, pulls you away from where you really want to direct your energy and focus. Later in the month, on September 16th, we have Mars, who, remember, is now in your 8th house, squaring the North and the South node. So the North node in your 5th house has been asking you to stop thinking so much about long-term goals, where you're heading in life, and to just also focus on enjoying your day-to-day life, on expressing yourself, on having fun, on being in touch with your inner child. And now that Mars is sort of activating the North Node again, it could be that all of this sort of intimate conversations, these taboo conversations you've been having with your partner, are like a perfect place where you can start to practice this, a perfect place where you can start to balance that heaviness, those like very serious topics, with an element of joy, with an element of pleasure, with an element of play. So you might really see the friction between those two, how they maybe feel quite opposite from each other, but also how you can learn to balance both and maybe incorporate them together. Just a couple of days later, on September 18th, we have our partial lunar eclipse. So yes, we are officially in the second eclipse season of the year. This is also the last eclipse season of the year. So the partial lunar eclipse is happening on September 18th, and then in October, we also have another eclipse. The partial lunar eclipse is actually a full moon in Pisces. A full moon means a revelation or a new understanding of an area of your life that perhaps you weren't so clear on before. For you, Sagittarius, this is your 4th house of family and home. So you might start to understand your family in a way that you haven't before. You might feel like things about your home just make sense finally. And because this is in the sign of Pisces, and because Neptune is quite close by, it might be a type of revelation that's quite high level, maybe quite abstract, a bit spiritual in a way. So I would encourage you not to dismiss it right away because of that. Sometimes these more like woo-woo or high-level realizations, even though we might not know how to apply them or they don't seem very tangible, they can be really comforting for our soul, and they can still help really change our attitude and our way of being. So just be aware of that for this lunar eclipse. One more comment about the lunar eclipse. We have Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto all retrograde during this eclipse. So honestly, I would recommend spending it alone, spending it in silence, and spending it doing some of your spiritual practices, journaling, meditation, whatever it may be, so that you're able to really access some of the insights. And even though Neptune is quite close by to this eclipse, it is not exact with the opposition to the Sun. That opposition will become exact a couple of days later, on the 21st of September. So it might feel like the sort of dreamy energy from the eclipse is a bit more drawn out, and you might be feeling it up until the 21st. Then, on September 22nd, we have Pluto speaking up, being part of the conversation. So remember, Pluto has retrograded back into your second house again. And on the 22nd, it makes two aspects. One more challenging, a square with Venus, and one a little bit easier, more supporting, a trine with the Sun. The square with Venus is happening from your 11th house, your house of community, your house of long-term vision. So you might feel like your finances and where you want to go in the future are like in friction with each other. Maybe you have a long-term vision of buying a house, but your finances say, I don't think so. But it could also work the other way, that your finances are holding you back from being a part of a new community, a new friendship group. At the same time, we have that conjunction with the Sun, which is in your 10th house. So there's something from your career, something at your place of work that is supporting you with your finances. Maybe you're getting a raise. Maybe your self-confidence is growing based on these difficult things that you're doing in your career. So it's a bit of a mixed day, but all of it is, at the end of the day, addressing your power in taking care of yourself, in providing for yourself, and facing head on any fears you might have around your finances. Let's close off this forecast with the final two aspects of September. On September 29th, we have the Sun and the South Node conjuncting. They are conjunct in your 11th house. And again, we see the same theme repeating. Are there any goals that you have for yourself for the next couple of years that are not truly yours, that are goals that don't serve you anymore, that are goals that are based on habits that you used to have? And then finally, the last transit of September is on September 30th, when Mars trines Saturn. Mars is in your 8th house, Saturn is in your 4th house, and you'll be happy to know this is a more supportive aspect. So I really see this as, the hard work that you've been putting with your home and your family, the adult decisions, the adult behavior you've been displaying there, is also making it much easier for you to bond with others, to be more intimately open and vulnerable with others. It could also manifest in the way that you being more open, not being afraid to talk about vulnerable topics, makes it easier for you to also do the same with your family, to have the strength to deal with the more difficult situations that are happening in your home or with your family. So overall, Sagittarius, we have some career focus. You're thinking about your long-term vision. We have your family. You're trying to figure out how to still have fun and enjoy life. So honestly, lots of things to juggle in the air for you in the month of September. I hope you do still enjoy the month, though, and I hope this horoscope helps you get some clarity about what's up ahead. I also wanted to thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. We did it, and as a result, we have a winner for the giveaway. Rosie Roses 85, you won a free reading. Head to my channel, click on the community tab, scroll down just a little bit, you'll find a post where I announce that you're the winner, and you can reach out to me there so that we can go ahead and schedule your reading. Thanks for joining me. Enjoy September, and I hope to see you again soon.